is Linda Opanga, and I'm the Director of Africa Press Disease. I'm very excited to celebrate with you this day, the World Heart Day, which is celebrated on every 29th of September for every year. Now, I'm reminded that in 2012, world leaders committed to make sure that there is a great reduction on mortality from non-communicable diseases. And their target was to reduce this by 25% by the year 2025. This means that we only have 5 years to make this a reality. Now, as we know, the cardiovascular disease is accountable for nearly half of all the deaths that we have today. So what we are doing today is to make sure that we can create that awareness, we can inform people around the world that the cardiovascular disease, including heart disease and stroke, are the world's leading cause of death, and continues to claim about 17.9 million lives every year. So if we don't do anything about it, it's going to cause many, many more deaths. So we just want to wish you a happy World Heart Day, and we just want you to take care of your health, your lifestyle, and everything you do, and make sure that your heart is healthy. Thank you.
Hi all, welcome to this forum. Today is World Heart Day, and I'm going to talk about heart failure. My name is Linda Opanga. I'm a pharmacist by profession, and I'm joined with beautiful people next to me. They will introduce themselves and then we'll start the conversation. I'll start on my right.
Oh, okay, yes. Right. Of course, she said beautiful, but yes, handsome. My name is James. Yeah, Minyao, and we're going to be together in this. Thank you so much.
Oh, my name is Linda Opanga, and I'm happy to join this conversation.
And I am Avin Momburi.
And I'm Emmanuel Machuka.
Okay, so as we've heard, all of us are young people, and today we're just going to have a conversation about heart failure, because this is one of the diseases that affects many people in the world. And right now it's like even small children, young people, the youths are being diagnosed with heart failure. Long time ago it used to be a disease of the old people, but right now it's no longer that. This is because of the life that people are leading. So basically, if I say heart failure, what is heart failure? If we go back to biology, I know all of us did biology or science at least at one point in our lives. We remember the structure of the heart, and the function of the heart was to pump blood to all other parts of the body. So by heart failure, I just mean that the heart is unable to do its work. It's unable to pump its blood to other parts of the body. And you know, when your heart fails to pump blood, it means that all your other organs are starting to fail, because the organs rely on blood for supply of oxygen, for supply of nutrients. So when your heart fails, it's like now your body is starting to shut down slowly and slowly. So what causes this heart failure? Now we have the lifestyle that we live. First of all, diet. So many people take a lot of food that has salt. Salt is very bad, especially people who add salt to raw salt to your food. When you're eating food, maybe someone has prepared the food and then it doesn't have enough salt, and then you're like, yo, waiter, nilete salt, and then you add to your food. You see, a lot of salt will predispose someone to getting high blood pressure. And when someone has high blood pressure, it can lead to heart failure in the long run. Yeah.
So does that mean that raw salt is bad compared to the one that's cooked?
Yes. So according to statistics, when you take raw salt, if I take raw salt and you take the salt that is cooked, the probability of me getting heart failure, to you, mine will be higher because I'm eating a lot of raw salt.
And sugar?
Because sugar now will come to sugar.
Oh, okay.
But now for salt, it's now hypertension, high blood pressure.
Okay.
Yes.
So you advise people to do boiled salt?
Yes, you take boiled salt and then you reduce the number. So in a day, everyone is supposed to take, you see that small teaspoonful? That is the amount of salt that you're supposed to take for the whole day, not per meal, for the whole day. That is per person. So if you're preparing a meal like meat, let me say, it will just have that 1 teaspoonful for the whole day. So you divide breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is the recommended amount that someone is supposed to take in a day.
Oh.
Yeah. And you asked about sugar. So if we go to sugar, so there's a disease called diabetes mellitus, and diabetes mellitus is the disease where you have now high blood sugar in your system. So when the high blood sugar is there, you're predisposed also to getting a heart failure.
How can one know like the blood sugar is high?
So there are usually symptoms of diabetes. First of all, you'll tend to drink a lot of water, you urinate a lot, and then you go, like you eat a lot of food, but you're losing a lot of weight. So if you see those 4 characteristics, like you're taking a lot of water, a lot of food, and then you're going to the toilet to urinate frequently. Yeah, because okay, sometimes it happens, you take water and then you go to the toilet frequently. But now when you have those signs, but now they are continuous, you go and test for diabetes. So you would just go to the doctor, they take your blood sugar, they just prick you here, then they measure your blood sugar. If it's high, then they'll tell you you have diabetes. But it's a caution, because when I've taken, like for example, we've all had lunch. So when they take my blood sugar right now, it will be definitely be high. So if I go to the doctor, they usually take what we call fasting blood sugar. So they tell you to fast for 8 hours. So this happens like this. They tell you now you've eaten dinner, you sleep, and then when you wake up in the morning, don't eat and then go to the doctor, they take your sugar. That is the best. Because if you take now after a meal, it will be high. Someone can be misdiagnosed of diabetes, yet they don't have diabetes. Yeah, so diabetes is also a contributing factor to heart failure. Then number 3, now we have obesity. So someone who's like very, very big, and then they have a lot of fat. Yeah, there's something called BMI, body mass index, yeah? So they measure your weight and your height, and then they calculate that. So if it's something above 29, now you're tending towards obesity. So the normal should be between 18 to 28. So if you are more than that, then you're obese. And obesity, a lot of cholesterol can lead to heart failure. Yes.
Obesity, but I think we are not obese.
How long does it take for someone to become obese?
How long does it take for someone to be obese? So, okay, for most people, it will take a very long time, because you gain fat after, like for a long period of time. You can't be, okay, yes, there are some people who are born with obesity, yes, but there are some we acquire because of what we eat. We eat a lot of food that is rich in fat, especially the processed fats, chipo, pizza, these fats that are usually just like people cook with them, and then these fats that people cook with them like kimbo, chili, those ones that we used to use a long time ago. So the advice, you use like liquid fat, like olive oil. Those ones are the best. Yeah. Then another thing that can cause heart failure is age. So mostly older people, it starts like with older people, but yes, I'd say there are some people who are young because of your lifestyle, because you do not exercise, you can get heart failure. So your lifestyle plays an important role in getting heart failure. So also if you live a sedentary lifestyle, by sedentary lifestyle I mean, like you get out of here, okay, you wake up, you come in the morning, you sit here for like 8 hours, and then after this you don't even walk, you go back home, you get a mat across the road, you go back home, you sleep. You see, you're not exercising at all. Yeah, so it's good like we exercise every single day, like 30 minutes exercise per day, aerobic exercise, walking. If you're walking, make sure you walk for like more than 30 minutes. Swimming, running, jogging, going to the gym, it's really important, because if you don't, you can develop obesity, you can develop these other conditions which can make you like get heart failure.
Traveling.
Yeah, traveling.
People travel a lot. Is there a connection between travel and heart?
So the issue comes in when you're traveling, yes, but you're not exercising. You see, I can be traveling maybe to go and swim. I can travel, then I go and like run. I can travel, then I go and swim on the beach, swim in the ocean. But now if you're just traveling and you're eating, sleeping, nothing, then that is the problem. But traveling, really, it doesn't affect.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said heart failure is a disease of the old people?
Not
So-
really. I said like
it
age
affects
is a
mostly-
determining factor. Yes,
Yeah,
age
mostly the
is
old
mostly
people.
the old people.
So why the old people?
Because
Why-
you see, when you're growing old, even your organs are growing old. Your heart is starting to shut down, your kidneys are shutting down, everything. The way you're growing, even your muscles will start to shut down. So it's because of the age that comes in. And then when you're old also, your immune system is not able to fight a lot of infections. Yeah? So that is why most old people usually, now when you reach maybe age let me say 60. That is when you start seeing like someone was very active when they were young and then they start developing now. Diabetes comes in, heart failure comes in, hypertension comes in. So it's because even as you grow old, your organs are also growing old. Yeah, that is why most old people usually have like many diseases.
But is there a way in which you can control that?
Yes, you can. Now we are coming to that.
So, because me, I usually see there's some people that live even up to 120 years.
Yes.
And they still look good and they're still in good health stage.
Yes. So we'll come to that. But then now let us look at the signs and symptoms. Is that okay? Like the causes. Anyone having a question on the causes?
I think I'm good on that.
The causes.
I think on the same time our causes, sorry not to interrupt. Causes. There are these guys who like love to fun a lot. Do you think pressure and stress can cause heart failure?
Yes. That's why I said like if you have high blood pressure, I mentioned when I was mentioning salt. So salt, there are very many causes of high blood pressure. So anything that will make your pressure, even that stress, if it makes your blood pressure to shoot, it can predispose you to getting heart failure. Yes, another thing that I had forgotten, sorry, alcohol and smoking.
They do?
Yes, they do. So alcohol, a lot of alcohol and smoking. Yeah, I know we are young and we like going out, we like partying, but there's a limit. Yes, alcohol and smoking.
There's always a thought on there.
Yes, and in fact...
Cigarettes or smoking?
Smoking.
No cigarettes. Yes.
So weed can't cause...
Rarely.
Really? Are you telling us to weed?
No, I'm not advising anyone to weed because weed also has its own side effects. Yes, of which we can talk about later. Right now we are looking at cigarettes and alcohol. So for ladies, you're only advised to take 1 glass of wine per day. For men, 2 glasses or 2 beers.
So you take 10 in a week, but on one day, is there a problem?
Now that one is even a problem. It's much more of a problem than when you take it on separate days. Because at that point, yes, you're overloading your body with a lot of alcohol. And you know alcohol is absorbed very fast into your system. So it's better you take 1 glass per day than to take 1 whole whiskey bottle.
So whiskey can be about a glass a day?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But you should not surpass the limit. For a man, 2 glasses. For a lady, only 1 glass per day.
Half
That is gender inequality.
But I thought ladies can drink more than men.
Ladies can drink more, but now according to the predisposition to getting a disease, they are more predisposed. You know, ladies go through a lot of hormonal changes and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, that is why the alcohol limit is lower than that for men. Yes, but now it also depends on the percentage of the alcohol. You can't compare alcohol that is 8% and whiskey at 40%, and then you say that's 1 glass. Yeah, so the percentage also matters.
What you meant.
Yeah, so alcohol and smoking. For alcohol, it's advisable 1 drink per day. For smoking, kindly just stop. Because alcohol, when you look at the damages, alcohol does less damage than smoking. Yes. Yeah.
Can heart disease cause heart failure?
Heart disease, yes. Now there are various types of heart diseases. For example, you have arrhythmias. Arrhythmias, this is a condition whereby now like there's this pulse rate that people usually take. So it's supposed to be ideally 72 to 100 beats per minute. Yeah? But when now it goes to above 100, now you're having an arrhythmia. So it means your heart is like doing a lot of work. So it's pumping a lot of blood and it's weak. So when you have heart conditions like arrhythmias, then another one is atherosclerosis. You guys know what atherosclerosis is, right? You don't know? You didn't learn in biology?
Biology.
Okay.
Like 5 years ago.
So what happens, atherosclerosis, you see the way your heart usually has arteries and veins. So now we are looking at the artery. The aorta, the pulmonary artery. You remember such things? Yeah, so now we are concentrating on the aorta. because that is the main vessel that pumps blood from the heart to other parts of the body. Yeah. So when you're looking at the aorta, and then now let's say you have this sedentary lifestyle, you're eating a lot of fat. So that fat will go and deposit in the arteries. And let's say the artery is now this size, and then there's fat around there. So it will reduce the diameter. Okay, the fat will go and reduce the diameter of the artery. So you see the heart will be doing a lot of work to pump blood through that small artery compared to the large artery. So with that also the heart can fail. Then we have now other conditions of the heart. Some people are born with conditions of the heart, like especially children. So if they're born with some heart conditions whereby now there's, you remember the structure of the heart, it looks like a love. So there's that wall that separates the right and the left. So in some people, like in some children, they're born with a hole between now that right and left. So you see the blood is mixing, because there's usually blood that is rich in oxygen and the other one that is deoxygenated. So if they mix, it can overwhelm the heart and it can fail. Yeah, and then also when someone has kidney failure, yes, it can affect the heart in this way. So you see the kidney, it's supposed to get rid of now the toxins in your body and then the excess water, that's why we urinate. So when it comes to a point whereby now your kidneys are failing, they're not able to release that water. So the water will backlog in the body and then it will overwhelm the heart. That's why you see people developing edema. Edema is the swelling of the legs. I don't know if you've ever had, if you've ever seen pregnant women with swollen legs. Yes, so that is what we call edema. So when someone has kidney failure, it can eventually affect your heart. Yes. So any other questions on causes?
What about hot water?
No, hot water doesn't have an effect.
If I go and soak, maybe kwa bathtub.
Okay, you'll just feel like your heart is pumping. Yeah. So that is not heart failure. It can't cause heart failure. This is just your body trying to respond to the heat because it's not used to like that a lot of heat. So it will respond in such a way that it's trying to get rid of the excess heat. That is why it will beat very fast in order to cause now the blood vessels and your sweat glands to release a lot of sweat.
Oh, so that's normal.
So it's normal, it's not heart failure.
Even the ones, sometimes you can run and then una feel chest pains.
So that one is a condition called angina. It's just a condition that happens. You remember the atherosclerosis that I was talking about? Yes, so now when blood is being pumped through that narrow artery. So that's why you're feeling like pain when you're trying to exercise. Because you're forcing like your heart to, because you see when you're running, yes, because you're running, you're exercising, your heart has to pump blood to other parts of the body. Yes, so that is how angina now comes in.
So that means that person has a very small aorta, like niko na fat kwa nini?
It doesn't mean, okay, there's some very other, there are other causes of angina apart from now that, but that is the most common. Yes, but exercise is good. It opens up everything, so you should try and exercise.
Can overdosing cause heart failure?
Overdosing of?
Yeah, sometimes someone can mistakenly overdose these sleeping pills, a matter of Viagra.
When you overdose on something like Viagra, so Viagra is used to treat hypertension. Yeah, pulmonary hypertension. This is hypertension in babies, like high blood pressure in babies. Yeah. So the side effect, it causes an erection. So that is how like someone decided like, hey, we can use this drug to induce an erection. But now essentially, when someone overdoses on Viagra, you're using Viagra to treat high blood pressure, right? In babies. But then you're taking it for the erectile dysfunction. So when you overdose, you're suppressing your blood pressure. So it will even go lower than the expected. You see, when you have high blood pressure, it's a problem. When your blood pressure is also low, it's a problem. So that is why when someone overdoses on Viagra, they can reduce your blood pressure. And when you reduce your blood pressure below the normal levels, it will affect your heart. That is why you see, like in the news, someone was overdosing on the Viagra, then there's a heart issue. That is how it causes that.
And sleeping pills.
Even sleeping pills, it's the same mechanism. When you overdose on them, they reduce your blood pressure. Yeah. So you should be careful on what you're taking outside there. Yeah. Which sleeping pills to be specific? Because there are different pills that can make someone to sleep. No, Piriton doesn't have an effect, but they're the strong ones. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, but those ones, when you overdose, you're also affecting your heart. Yeah.
So, what about
My question is,
maybe lack of sleep? Can that be matched to or fatigue? Someone's tired,
So,
whatever, overworking.
You see, being tired and overworking, it doesn't have a relation with the heart. Yeah, it could be a symptom of maybe, let me say, lack of sleep or fatigue. It could be a type of, like a symptom of heart failure. So like when someone's heart is failing, they feel like very fatigued, very exhausted, they cannot do work. But now when you're working and then now you're lacking sleep, you can get migraines, but they're not connected to the heart. Yes. It can only come as a symptom if now you have the heart failure, but they can't cause heart failure.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, I
Yeah.
get you.
So
That's clear for me.
it's clear, so we can move to the signs and symptoms. Yeah. So how will someone know like I'm having heart failure? So we'll just generally you look at the function of the heart. It's to pump blood. So once the blood is not being pumped well, first of all, someone will feel very, very fatigued. Someone will be easily fatigued. Like you'll always feel tired. So when you always feel tired, make sure you go and see a doctor or something of the sort.
Always
Yes.
tired.
Yes, always tired. Like even if you walk for some distance, unaanza kuhema and you're so tired, even if it's a very short distance. You exercise a bit, you're so tired, and it's maybe walking for 10 minutes, you're already tired. That could be a symptom that your heart is failing. Second, you feel dizzy also. Other than being tired, you're also dizzy. Like you just feel like, man, I'm tired, I just need to rest, I need to sleep. Like you're always tired and dizzy. That could also be a warning sign. Then the other one, now I was trying to explain to you how you'll start becoming blue. Yeah, so on your extremes, if you're light skin, good for you. We can easily pick that up. Yeah, so like it turns bluish at the end. So your fingers, your toenails, they can start turning blue. Yeah, and then you look pale. If you look at your hands, you see there's a way in which, no, you're not pale. There's a way in which someone just looks at your hands and says like there's no like good supply of blood in. Yeah, like it looks whitish. So your hands, they're not normal, but they're tending towards whitish. But if you're dark skin, you'll start looking like purple-ish. So you move from dark to purple. That is how you can know. Yeah, and then you're having like trouble breathing. Yeah, so you're taking like very deep breaths and heavy ones. So you're struggling to breathe, basically. That could also be a warning sign of heart failure. Yes, and then the edema that I talked about. And then someone who's always having a very like continuous cough, and it comes out like it's whitish. It comes out like froth. How can I explain froth? Ni povu, inatoka kama povu. Yeah, so if someone is continuously coughing every single day, especially now if you're smoking and you're an alcoholic, and then you start developing those signs, just know your heart your heart is being affected. So you'll see someone just coughs daily. It's usually like dry, but then sometimes it comes when it's like frothy. Same way I say inatoka na povu, something of the sort. Yeah. So basically that is how you can know like someone is having heart failure. Yeah.
Okay.
Those are the symptoms.
so can someone heal? Is there
So once your heart is failing, once your heart has started failing, you cannot heal. It's a long-term condition that you are living with. It's just like cancer, it's just like diabetes, it's like high blood pressure. So you have to be on medications for life. There's no treatment per se that will say like this is going to heal me. The only thing we can do is just now to manage your symptoms and we give you drugs to help your heart now to start functioning well.
What if you get a heart transplant?
So heart transplant, yes, you can get, that one can help you. But you see, this is a surgery, and surgeries, because when you get an organ transplant, now in fact the heart, you're supposed to be given some drugs that can even affect your immune system further. Because you see, maybe I'm getting my heart and giving it to him. So my blood type, they're usually like, they do they do procedures in order to determine whether I can donate my heart to someone else. So they do the blood test, they see if our blood group is the same, they look out for so many factors. But then there's sometimes someone gives the other one a heart, but then the body rejects that heart. So after any transplant, they usually give drugs like steroids or other drugs to suppress the immune system of the person so that the heart can not be rejected. So you see, you're suppressing your immune system. When someone coughs, when someone has COVID and they cough next to you, definitely you'll get it because your immune system is already suppressed in order to accept the heart. So heart failure is possible, yes, but it's very delicate and it has a lot of complications. And it's usually like the last resort. Yeah. And it's very expensive. I don't think people in Kenya can afford a heart transplant. It's very expensive.
Why would you even donate a heart and tube?
Now they get from people who've died.
Oh,
yes. Yeah. Because if you donate your heart, definitely you'll die.
Yeah.
So they have to get it from people who've died. Yeah, you can't donate because you don't have two hearts, you only have one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So someone has to die for the other one to survive?
Yes.
Sacrifice.
Yes. So there are these people like their organs, maybe my kidney is failing and I can't survive. So they just say when I die, when I'm at the verge of dying, just harvest my heart and give it to someone else.
Some even donate their other organs.
Yes, other organs.
So wait, so this heart, when you're donating your heart, they take it before you die?
Okay, they can even take it after you've died. Okay, you see, when someone has died,
See the system.
the first minute, your senses are usually, okay, I've never died, but this is according to science. The first 5 minutes, kuna the last organs that usually die. Kuna the first organs to die, which is your brain, but kuna the last organs to die. That's why some people say like a dead person is still hearing. So at that point where your heart is not completely dead, they can take it and then they resuscitate it in the lab. Yes. Yeah.
Wow. So the heart has some life.
Yeah, it has some life.
So if the heart fails, you can still live. But if the brain dies,
Yeah.
Oh, so what about those people that are usually put on life support machines? What usually happens?
So life
Their heart
support,
dead?
it's
Is
their
their
brain.
The brain is dead.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, and when your brain dies, you're basically just dead, so there's no point of putting someone on life support. Yeah.
Wow.
So
I'm gonna eat healthy to prevent.
yeah, so now we go to prevention. So prevention, if you don't want your heart to fail, alcohol, if your intake really matters. The way like people drown alcohol on Friday and Saturday.
It doesn't matter whether it's beer or whiskey.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Yeah, in fact, the higher the percentage, the higher the risk. Because I see kuna zenye ni 40%,
What
12%,
percentage is
8%.
needed because even the body needs alcohol a little.
The body doesn't need a lot of alcohol.
It's a little.
That is why I say they recommended a glass per day and yeah.
How, like percentage gap even.
Okay, there's no really like percentage, but just know the limit there. Okay, the limit that they give is in terms of the glasses.
With the big glass
Yeah.
or the small one?
The small one, not the big. Okay, yeah, because kuna ile glass ya 500, utapata ya 300,
Na kuna ile
ya
hapo
350
sana.
ml, 350 mils. Yes.
And
So.
passive smokers have.
Yes, you can. In fact, passive smokers are the worst because you see you're inhaling what like all the other toxins. Heri huyo mwenye ni primary. Secondary smokers are usually affected much more compared to the primary smoker. So if you have a relative who's smoking, they're also affecting you. Yeah.
And is heart failure hereditary?
Hereditary. Okay, so the conditions that I don't think heart failure is hereditary. Like if maybe my parent has heart failure, it doesn't mean that someone else will have heart failure. Like if my mom has diabetes, there's a probability of me getting diabetes way later in life. And it can cause heart failure. But heart failure in itself, no, because it's a variety of factors that can cause the heart failure. Yeah.
And what foods do we need to eat to?
Yeah, so now we are coming to the prevention. I was like, no smoking, no alcohol. That one we are done. Exercise. So 30 minutes of exercise per day. Then when it comes to diet, low salt diet. And then now you avoid these processed food, sausages, all these processed food, smokies, all those, as long as iko kwa tin kwa supermarket and it's processed. Even processed meat, it's bad. But what you're supposed to do, eat now fruits, vegetables, a lot of water. And then if it's meat, avoid a lot of red meat. Take a lot of white meat. It's safer that way. Yeah, because of a lot of red meat will also predispose you to hypertension and these other lifestyle diseases. So nyama choma, beer, so you see you're even combining two things at the same time. Yes, sausage, ndio hiyo, all of these processed foods.
People do not know these things because some things are people love nyama choma, they love beer.
Beer, yeah.
Is it that they don't know?
No, people know. People know, yes, but you see, to human is to err.
Okay.
Yeah, people say you YOLO. So, but you see, those people you're YOLOing with, when you're sick, they'll run away from you. So you choose yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, so what you're supposed to eat, fruits, a lot of vegetables, a lot of water, and then now whole foods. So by whole foods, I mean kinanduma, cassavas, all those foods that our grandparents used to eat. They are much better than now these processed foods that you are being given. If it's ugali, brown rice, those ones are better than eating chapati and bread.
Some of us who live in towns or even staying alone in their houses, to sometimes be going out of Nairobi or out of towns just to have some healthy food.
No, but they usually sell in the they usually sell even on the streets of Nairobi, those cassavas you can pick. Though for Nairobi, I'm not sure kama is a Nairobi river because that's also another health hazard. Yes, yeah. And then now, yes. Treatment, there are drugs. So it depends on the cause. Kama if it's hypertension, if it's high blood pressure, they give you drugs to reduce your pressure. It will reduce your risk. If it's diabetes, you control your diabetes, you take drugs. If it's obesity, you exercise, you lose weight, you take drugs for obesity. Your risk will be lower. And then now, there are now other drugs now to give when different stages of heart failure, you treat differently.
And what about, say, having hot water, warm water? Does it help?
It doesn't boil that fat down, no. It doesn't work that way.
Also that there's a high risk when taking cold water and you're advised taking...
Okay, people say you take warm water after meals, but really, I don't think there's a correlation. That hot water really, how much fat will that warm? Because you can't take hot water that is very, very hot to dissolve your fat. Because you remember even your body temperature is like around 38. 38 is relatively warm. So if you take more than even that 38, it will even burn your organs in the body. So the best way to burn that fat, just kindly exercise. It's not so much to ask.
So are you saying it's bad to take even tea? You know, tea, it's hot itself.
It's not bad, but the degree of hotness, really, even you'll feel even it's burning your tongue. Yeah. Why would you punish yourself taking that hot tea? Yeah.
And when you're talking about the causes, you said, I don't know, your nini starts turning purple. And a long time ago, people used to check up every macho, and then they say if your eye is pale.
Now that is anemia. It's anemia.
What is anemia?
Anemia is low.
Blood, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
And can an anemic person have heart failure?
Okay.
Because they don't have enough blood.
It can be an indirect cause, but not really direct cause of heart failure. But it can actually cause heart failure because your blood doesn't have what to pump. So it will affect it will even affect your heart and other systems. So in the long run, long-term anemia can affect. Short-term, not so much, because even ladies get anemia when they have their periods. And that cannot really affect your heart. But if it's for a long period of time, for example, someone who has maybe cancer of the bladder, not even bladder, cancer of the blood, that's what I meant to say, like leukemias. Those people require multiple blood transfusions. And when your blood levels go like very low, they can fail the heart. Yeah, so in the long run, anemia could also be a factor. Yeah.
Okay, good.
What about medicine? Kuna watu wengine wakikupea very strong drugs. Like it even affects the heart. Like all out of cancer, they usually given several.
Chemo, yes, chemo can affect the heart. There are different types of chemotherapy. There's one class that specifically can affect your heart. So if you have a cancer and then you're on those drugs, you can get heart failure. Yeah. So also that could contribute. So there's so much that can contribute, but the basic ones, the most common ones, this is a lifestyle.
COVID-19 can cause, right?
There's a relationship between people who have heart failure and COVID-19. So people who have heart failure are more prone to getting COVID-19, according to the studies that were done.
Okay.
Yes. But COVID-19 cannot lead to heart failure, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So I hope you learned something about that. If you have any questions, you can write them down. You can reach out to me on various social media platforms and I'll be able to respond to you. Thank you.